said, we must caution you that lasting progress can be built only on deep and enduring foundations. A strong and a viable economy, expanding programs dedicated to the public welfare, the application of modern science and technology to the solution of the problems which face us, and the improvement of the way of life of our people. But these, in turn, require an increasingly mature, rational, and responsible attitude of mind and spirit, manifested in the approach which we take in the exercise of our rights and obligations, in the manner in which we search for solutions to problems of our daily life, and in the way in which we arrange our relations with our fellow men. It is this mental attitude which is most essential. If our nation is to continue to prosper and develop, we must become increasingly self-critical, increasingly willing to answer our efforts, to experiment, to admit our failures, and we take pride in our successes. We must draw on what is valuable and meaningful in our history and tradition, and merging this with the best in modern learning. Create a uniquely Ethiopian base on which we build. If the foundation which we lay today are not sound and strong, they will surely crumble tomorrow, and the future development of the nation will be endangered, and our efforts, however well-intentioned, will have gone for naught. This approach to our daily labors demands of each of us a keen awareness of our duties and obligations, and responsible members of society. We are born into a society which is founded upon the principle of respect for the rights of others. Our revised constitution guarantees to each citizen the free enjoyment of a man's basic human rights. Our nation's law have set forth in detail the manner in which these rights will be exercised. But it is all too easy to forget that rights carry with them obligations, that we must be equally prepared to discharge the correlative responsibilities which they lay upon us. No one has the right to education unless he is prepared to use his learning properly in the service of his nation and his fellow men. No one possessing power can claim any absolute right to exercise it unless he does so rationally and responsibly, in full recognition of the procedures and requirements which edge around its possession and use. No one is vested with any inalienable rights to liberty or property who does not equally admit that these rights are limited and restricted by the reciprocal exercise by others of their identical rights. No one has the right to act arbitrarily or irrationally, or without first having given the fullest consideration to the consequences of his action. No one can claim his proper measure of self-respect who does not exercise his rights and discharge his obligations in full conscientiousness of the rights of others. We urge you, the members of Parliament and all the Ethiopian people, we approach each problem with us an open mind, guided by those rules which guide reasonable men in the ordering of their daily lives. Examine your own work and that of your fellows, willingly and critically, but in constructive rather than a destructive sense. Ask, before you criticize, whether you yourself possess the defect you decry in others. Determined to profit by one another's knowledge and experience for learning from those who already know is in itself education. Seek out the facts. Aid and abet those who pursue the truth, for it is only on the basis of factual truth as well as intellectual honesty that modern Ethiopia can be well and truly created. We ask that our people strive not only in the pursuit of their individual ambitions, but with a common heart and a united spirit for the public welfare. As Ethiopia lives in the modern age, as our nation has come to play an increasingly important role in world affairs, so have we also become more and more dependent on the individual creative energy and intelligence of our people. Be they humble workers or high officials, it is by their efforts that our nation is judged today. Ethiopia's hope for the future resides in our people, for here are those our first and our last resources.
Selassie.